So, you're dreaming of buying a home in beautiful, sunny South Florida? It's an amazing dream, but there's a hidden danger that a lot of buyers completely miss. And trust me, it could end up costing you your health and your savings. We are talking about mold. And today, we're going to break down why getting a mold inspection isn't just an option, it is your absolute best defense.
Okay, let's just start right here. This quote really nails the paradox of living in paradise, doesn't it? The very climate that we all love, the thing that draws us here, is also what creates this persistent, often invisible threat that can turn a dream home into a total nightmare.
So you might be wondering, what is it that makes this region, ground zero for mold? Well, the answer is in this unique combination of environmental factors that are pretty much always at play down here.
Think of it like a recipe for a disaster. You start with that constant heavy humidity in the air. Then you mix in our frequent storms and hurricanes that are literally pushing water into every little nook and cranny. And then you seal it all up inside a modern home that's built to be airtight to keep the AC in. Well, you've just trapped all that moisture inside. It is the absolute perfect environment for mold to thrive, usually where you'd least expect.
And let's be really clear about this. This has nothing to do with how clean a house looks. A home can be absolutely spotless on the surface, but behind the scenes, behind the drywall, mold could be growing, spreading through the AC ducts or creeping under the floorboards. The real enemy here is always hidden moisture.
And that hidden moisture, it's not just some small nuisance. It is a major threat. And the risks really break down into two huge categories that you just can't afford to ignore: your family's health and your wallet.
You are basically fighting a war on two fronts here. On the health side, you could be looking at everything from nagging allergies and asthma attacks to chronic coughs, wheezing, even headaches. At the exact same time, that mold is literally eating away at your investment. It's rotting wood, it's crumbling drywall, and it's threatening the actual structural integrity of your house.
And we're not just talking about a little bit of mildew in the shower. Some of the most common types of mold found in Florida homes, especially after any kind of water damage, can be toxic. You've probably heard of black mold. Its scientific name is Stachybotrys chartarum. Its presence can lead to really severe health problems, especially for the most vulnerable people in your family, like kids or the elderly.
And this right here, this is the financial gut punch. You might think, oh, my homeowner's insurance will cover me, but that is rarely the case. Insurers almost always have clauses that exclude mold damage. They'll argue it's from poor maintenance or a pre-existing leak. So discovering a huge mold problem after you buy the house? Yeah, that usually means you are completely on your own for the cleanup.
So, with all these insane risks, how do you actually protect yourself? Well, this is where a professional mold inspection becomes your single most powerful weapon before you close on that property.
Now, it's really important to know the difference between an inspection and testing. They are not the same thing. Think of it this way. The inspection is the detective work. The inspector uses tools like thermal cameras to find where moisture might be hiding. The testing part? That's the lab analysis that confirms what kind of mold you're dealing with and tells you exactly how bad the problem is. A real inspection is a super systematic process. The inspector starts with a visual hunt, looking for obvious red flags like water stains or that musty smell. But then they bring out the big guns, the technology. Thermal cameras can actually see temperature differences behind walls that suggest moisture, and moisture meters can confirm it. Only then, if they find those high-risk conditions, do they take samples to send off for testing.
Okay, so what does this kind of protection cost? You're typically looking at somewhere between, say, $300 and $1,000. And I get it, that can feel like just another closing cost you'd rather not pay.
But then weigh that against the cost of mold remediation. That can easily skyrocket into the tens of thousands of dollars. Money that, remember, is probably not covered by your insurance. Suddenly, that inspection fee doesn't look like a cost anymore, does it? It's one of the smartest investments you can make to prevent a total financial catastrophe.
Okay, so you did the right thing, you got the inspection, and now the report is in your hands. What happens next? This is the moment where that knowledge turns into real power in your real estate deal.
Armed with that detailed report, you suddenly have all the leverage. You can go back and negotiate for the seller to handle the entire cleanup before you close. Or you can ask for a big price reduction to cover the costs yourself. And if the problem is just too big, you have a valid, documented reason to walk away from the deal and get your deposit back. You are in control.
Now here is the single most important piece of paper you need to know about: the mold inspection addendum.
You have to insist that your realtor includes this in your contract. It's your legal safety net. It gives you the time you need to get the inspection done and the power to walk away penalty-free if a major problem is found. Seriously, do not buy a home in Florida without this.
All right, let's wrap this all up with a few key takeaways to make sure that Florida home you're about to buy is a safe and sound investment. But you have to be careful. Not all inspectors are created equal. A general home inspector might just give a quick glance for visible mold, and that is not nearly enough. Hiring someone without specialized expertise can give you a false sense of security, which, honestly, is even more dangerous than not knowing at all. So, what should you be looking for? Well, at an absolute minimum, they need a Florida State Mold Assessor license, but you should also look for advanced certifications, something like a CIEC. You're not just hiring an inspector, you're hiring a mold specialist who can give you a detailed report and a clear action plan, not just a confusing set of lab results.
If you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. In a humid climate like South Florida, a mold inspection is not an optional add-on. It's a fundamental, non-negotiable step in the home buying process. It is how you protect your family's health and what is likely your single biggest financial investment.
In the end, it really all comes down to this one simple question. And a professional, thorough mold inspection is the only way you're going to find out the real answer before you sign on that dotted line and before it's too late.